Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So, a couple things first before we get into the video. One, last week on Saturday, that ended our Christmas series. Now I'm going to do kind of like a gift giving series that gives you different ideas for things that you can make and personalize for the special people in your lives. And it doesn't have to be just for Christmas. I mean, the series will probably go through Christmas, but these can be used for any special occasion that need something special, something personalized, something unique for that special someone in your life. So that's what we're going to do today. What I want to do is I want to do a set of dominoes, and I kind of want to elevate it a little bit than like just the normal, solid color or whatever. What I'm doing right now is just pouring a very thin, clear coat, and I want it to be enough that it's going to cover all of the dots and the lines in the middle. I also want to make sure that it's not too much that I can't get a nice, good, thick layer on the back to make it completely opaque, because we don't want these to be see-through. I want them to be playable dominoes, and, you can't play them if you can see through them. So that's what I'm doing. Thin coat of resin down. I'm going along all around the dots, around that middle line, around the 90-degree corners, everywhere, to make sure that there's no bubbles that are stuck there, because dominoes are notorious for those stupid little bubbles that like to stick there. Now I'm going to hit it with my heat gun to pop any of those bubbles, warm the resin up just a little bit more, thin it out so that it moves and spreads, and then we're going to start putting our inclusions in. Now, I got these cute little flowers. I got them from Temu, and I thought, I have to relook it up because I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I thought it said that they were paper flowers. They look like real dried flowers to me, unless they did a really, really good job at paper flowers. I mean, I don't know, but they're gorgeous. I mean, these things are beautiful. So I am going to put them in, and of course, making sure that I'm putting them the right side up, and I'm kind of flipping them around a little bit to make sure that both sides are covered. I don't want them to float up. I want them kind of pushed down. And again, we didn't put enough resin in that I shouldn't have to worry about them, floating too high. But I also want to make sure that there's no air pockets like caught in these, because they're not like just like the flat, just flower pieces that you get that have no real whatever. These have like actual petals, and it's like a full flower. Like, they really are truly gorgeous. So I just want to make sure that they're covered completely so that we don't get any air pockets whatsoever. Now, there is no real like rhyme or reason to how many I'm putting in, where I'm putting them in at, colors, or anything like that. I want it to be kind of randomized. I don't want, only one flower goes here and one flower goes here, and we're only putting two in. Like, I don't necessarily want them to be uniformed. I want them to stand out. I want them to be different. I want them to be colorful. And I want to make a gorgeous, gorgeous set of dominoes. So, that's it. I'm just kind of like at the beginning here, I'm like nicely taking them out and putting them in and all this other stuff. And I get to the point where I'm just going to start throwing them in, because it's me doing it on my own. It's not quite randomizing it enough, because when you try not to be random with something and you try not to make it look uniform, then it almost is like it looks more uniform because you're trying not to make it look uniform, if that makes sense. I know it's like this weird like conundrum type thing, but I'm telling you, when you try not to do something to make it look more, or I guess, organic, it just, it looks more like it's placed there on purpose. So I just start lobbing them in and kind of just going with it. I want it to be random. I want it to be organic looking. I want it to be gorgeous. I don't care if I have a couple of the same color in there. I mean, I don't want like one just nothing but completely red or completely purple or completely whatever. Like, I want them to be colorful, but at the same time, it doesn't necessarily matter. Okay, now hitting them with the heat gun for the last time, and Now I decide that I am not happy with just the flowers in. I want to add something more. So I get my foil sheets and I've got one of just a normal yellow gold, and I'm going to stick it into just the tiniest bit of resin and fight with it for a minute here because of course it gets stuck everywhere it's not supposed to. Mix it up, break it up, and then I'm going to just kind of toss it in to these pieces. Now, I'm going to divide them up, and half of them I'm going to do with the gold, and then the other half I'm going to do with the rose gold foil that I have. Just want it to, I want them to be gorgeous. I want them to be kind of delicate, kind of just dainty almost. And now I'm going in with the rose gold that I have, and I am going to do the same thing in this other half of the domino set. And I'm not really, again, no necessarily rhyme or reason. I just kind of want them in here, put in a little bit, because again, we need to pay attention to how much resin is actually going into these pieces because I need to have enough on the back end once the side is dry, and just kind of lobbing it in there. And then I'm going to take my tool and I'm just going to kind of spread it out just a little bit. Not so much. I don't necessarily want it everywhere, but just enough to kind of break it up just a tad more than what it already is. And I don't know. I just want to break it up just a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. Spread it out, any kind of lumps that are in there, and then we're done. We're going to let this set cure. Kind of easy, but you can already see, like right now, they're going to be gorgeous. All right, 24 hours later, I thought I hit record and I didn't. I've got my Nic Pro resin. I've got some HTV Runt white mica powder that I put in here, and I don't want it to be white. I want to kind of accent on that rose gold. So I have some rose gold alcohol ink after I'm done mixing up the mica powder. And again, we need to make sure that we are completely opaque, and I didn't add quite enough, so I added some more. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to add in a good bit of my rose gold alcohol ink. And just to give it this kind of creamy with just that tint of rose gold to it. Oh, it's, guys, it's gorgeous. It really is. Like I went to go count how many drops I put in, but I just ended up squirting it in, so it didn't really matter in the end. And as I was kind of mixing it, I was like, oh, this would look really cool if I had some kind of like swirls of the rose gold in. So I added more into it to kind of just a couple more drops to see if I could kind of like halfway mix this part up and get some of those. That's why I'm going like really slow here. But it ended up not doing what I wanted it to do. It just, at that point, I had so much rose gold in it already that was colored that it just didn't do the swirly thing that I wanted. It's fine. It's whatever. It didn't really make a difference. I still got this gorgeous color that I want. So now I'm just filling up the back of these. Now, I always seem to have an issue when I fill these up. Like, I know the resin is going to shrink some, and I feel like every time I fill it up, I always still get the stupid edges on it where you have to go back with your, why can't I think of the name of the tool? Oh my God. The little stupid tool that I don't like to use because it is hard to use. Not my craft blade. Yep, I know what it's called. Eventually it'll come to me, and if it does, when I remember, I'll put it up on the screen. But you guys know what I'm talking about. The little tool that has the circular blade thing that you almost use it like if you're peeling potatoes, that. Anyway, so on these, I'm almost like doming them. I'm putting them really high up. Now, I did wait to do that at the end. I just kind of put a thin layer on right now. I'm going around the corners, hitting making sure that there's no bubbles that are getting trapped there. And then I'm going to go back in here after I'm done doing that. And I'm going to fill this up. Also going to hit it with my heat gun to pop any bubbles that are there. Top them off. Like I said, I'm almost doming them. Like, I don't want to have to use that stupid tool that I still cannot think of the name of. Oh my God, this is going to bother me. That I can't think of the name of at the end of this. So, yeah. What is it called? So, yeah, I had to stop recording my voiceover so I could figure out what it was called because it was really bothering me. Anyway, back to the video. So now we are using our heat gun and popping any bubbles that are in there. And now I'm just going to finish filling these, making sure that they're all the same fullness, I guess. And like I said, right at being domed so that when it cures and it shrinks back a little bit, I'm not going to get those sharp edges. Now, I did over pour on a couple of these, and even though I tried to clean off in between, it ended up just, I had to use the damn tool anyway. Such is my life. But anyway, so we're just gonna fill them up, and then that's it. Let them cure. All right, here we are 24 hours later, and you can see the over pour that I had on a couple of them, but I didn't have an issue with the sharp edges, which I'm super happy about. So there's only those few that I do have to go through and clean with the deburring tool. Yay me. But they do turn out so pretty. Look at these. They're very dainty. They're very, very delicate looking. They're just gorgeous. They're everything that I had envisioned in my head and then some. So now it's time to clean them off, and it wasn't too hard. Like, I really didn't have a hard time with it this time, thank God. But, it is. Look how pretty they are, though. They're gorgeous. So I want to do something different today with the dots than I've ever done before. Normally, so when I first started, I've done the dots in just like a paint marker or something like that, and that's all fine and well and everything. And then I've tried acrylic paint and it's okay too. But what I ended up doing more recently on my domino set that I think I like even better is using a little bit of alcohol ink and gloss varnish and putting it in the holes. The gloss varnish dries clear, so you have the alcohol ink that's left, and you just kind of fill them up, and then it just dries around, and I've had no issues with it. It's a little bit easier to clean off than paint or the paint markers, because the paint markers for me, every time I go to clean them off, it ends up leaving marks and stuff, or it just dries super fast and I can't get it off and then it's ruined. So I do like using the gloss varnish method to do it. Plus, if you are doing it with like alcohol ink or whatever, like the deco color markers that I've only been able to find them in the metallic colors. I've been able to find I found a metallic pink one and then gold and silver, and that's pretty much about it. Maybe I've seen copper. No, I haven't seen copper. I've seen other people use copper, but I haven't found it. You use the alcohol inks and you have a wider range of colors that you can use. But today I want to go a little bit different even than that. Now, I want to use the gloss varnish and some glitter. So I got this really pretty, it's a sapphire blue glitter, and I'm just mixing it in with the gloss varnish. Now I am making it a little bit on the runnier side than a paste, kind of like a happy medium between super runny and super thick, because I need it to fill up those holes so that when it dries, it's all the way around the circle, if that makes sense. And the same thing with the lines. So I'm just putting it in, but you want to make sure that if you do this, that one, don't mix up too much at one time, because the gloss varnish within, say, 20 minutes or so, it starts to thicken up and you're going to have to add more. So it will dry on you. So you want to make sure that you are doing what you can kind of handle. Now you can thin it back out by adding more gloss varnish to it. But I just recommend don't do more than you can do in, say, a 20-minute time period, and it takes me a little while to do these, and it's easier to clean off. So all I did was I took my dotting tools, one that was a little bit bigger that fit the dots, and then one that was a little bit smaller that fit that line in the middle. And I'm just going in and kind of filling these up. I would recommend every once in a while mixing up your glitter mixture, because all the glitter is going to sink to the bottom, and you do want these dots full of glitter because that's where your color is. That's where you're going to be able to see the actual dots. If you don't have it filled up and it's more of the gloss varnish, then it's just going to dry clear. So you're not going to get that full effect of having the dot completely full of glitter. And it seals the glitter in there too, so you don't have to worry about it coming off. So I really like how they turn out. I like how you can get the sparkles from the glitter, and it's something different. I haven't seen it done now. I've watched a bunch of videos on people making dominoes. I've never seen anybody doing it like this before, so I don't know if anybody else has. And it's super easy to clean off. I again recommend cleaning it off as soon as possible because you don't want it to stick on there, because once it's stuck on there, it's on there. But all I did was I got one of the cotton buds that has kind of like the point on it and just ran it along, because the main spot that I had issues with was the line in the middle where it kept going over it. But just run it across while it's still wet before it dries, and bam, you're done. It's all nice and clean. I think they look gorgeous. I let them dry for, a good day just to make sure. I mean, it doesn't take anywhere near that long. And honestly, like each piece, it doesn't have so much in it that it would. It was probably dry to the touch, in about 2 or 3 hours. But I want to make sure that they're just completely dry before I put them away. Well, guys, that's it on this one. That's a wrap. I do have one announcement to make starting next week. So I'll do Thursday and Saturday's video. Starting after that, I am going to have to change my Monday videos and put them out on Tuesdays. Mondays it's not happening for me the right way. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. I will catch you guys in the next one. I will see you on Thursday. Love ya. Bye.